Explorations in Rhetorical Analysis, Space Cat Pie Presentations. All right, this is a video to explain to you what's going on with this project for Q4, just in case you miss class or you find yourself working on it and you don't remember what you're supposed to do, how to do it, and what resources to use. So the purpose, we've got 3 different standards here. 2 of these, SL, is for speaking and listening. RI is for reading informational texts. So same as we have started working on in class, one of the purposes of this project is to help give everyone practice at determining the purpose in a text. So you'll need to do that by looking around the treasure trove of the internet to find text with a certain purpose. Then in terms of speaking and listening, as well as writing to a certain extent, you'll need to delineate a speaker's argument and claims and attitude toward the subject. And then all of us together as a class will practice evaluating how sound that argument may or may not be. And then as you're working on the project, that means that you need to include multimedia components and visual displays to clarify claims and findings and emphasize salient points, meaning to make clear to somebody who is watching you present, looking at your slides and listening to you, it will be clear to them what is most important. Here are our basic requirements. These will come up again in the rubric, but this generally is what you're going to be up to. You're going to work in teams of ideally mostly 3, but if there are a few groups of 4, that's fine. You need to have a title slide with your topic, your names, class and period, and some sort of an image. And now here's the deal. Here's why it's Space Cat Pie. You need to find 3 different text types and approach whatever your topic is from all 3 different purposes, i.e. pieces of pie. Okay? So you're going to find 3 things on the same topic, but they're going to be 3 different kinds of texts in 3 different kinds of purposes. So I hope, my intention is for these to be pretty fun for us to participate in during classes as we're going through state testing, because you're going to persuade or you're going to present a persuasive text. We don't have to believe it. We don't have to agree or disagree. We're going to get some information on various things, so we'll learn, and then we will also be entertained. So all 3 pieces of pie. 1 text needs to be written. 1 text needs to be visual, still, like an image of some sort. And 1 text needs to be audio/visual. It can be just audio, or it could be AV, as in some form of a video or recorded speech. Okay? And then you can see here, in parentheses, I've got all sorts of different ideas for you of things that are written of different text types, things that are visual, and things that are audio-visual. Don't worry, though, if this doesn't feel like enough resources for you, we've got more coming on another slide. So, what do you need to do with these 3 texts of the 3 different types? You need to build understanding of the rhetorical situation, so to speak, for each of those 3 texts. So that means the space part, speaker, purpose, audience, context, and exigence for both your persuasive and your informative text. And then for the entertaining one, just at least give us ACE. What's the intended audience? What's the context? And what's the exigence? Like, why does it matter that somebody made this funny or otherwise entertaining thing? All right. So then class members will be taking notes. So you are teaching them, and then we will participate, kind of like in partner work, the CAT part. So choices, appeals, and tone. You can choose whether you want us to engage in that with your persuasive text or your informative text. Good news when it comes to the entertaining part. Yes, present to us like what the context and the audience is for that entertaining piece, but then we don't need to take notes. We're just going to be entertained because that's nice. One last basic requirement, you need to include a works cited page to give credit to all your sources, and that needs to be in MLA format. Okay? You can see that this is linked here. If you wanted to go to that link, I would need to exit presenter mode, but see, I'm hovering over this. You can see there's a link there. you would hit control and then click, and then you would open that link. All right. Here are research and discovery resources. Because again, you need to have one thing that's written, one thing that's an image, and one thing that's either just audio or audio and video. So we're doing some looking at things, we're doing some reading, and we're doing some listening. So here are ideas for persuasive text. Here are ideas for informative text. Here are ideas for entertaining texts. If you need longer to look at this, you could pause the video. Then you can see lots of resources. I have fewer resources for you for entertaining texts because I think it's pretty common that when you're not in school, you seek out entertainment more than you do persuasive text and informative text. So I'm leaning into that. The assumption I'm making is that you know where to find stuff that is entertaining to you and to other people your age, right? Because your target audience really is your peers, and then just keep in mind that I will be viewing the presentations as well. But your target audience are the people in your class. So lots of different resources. Think outside the box. Your persuasive text does not need to be an article. You could use an entertaining thing in writing, right? Like a joke, or a short story, or a poem, or the lyrics of a song, or just the song itself. That could be your audio text. So there is no requirement for which of these purposes fits with each of these text types. That is totally up to you. The sky is the limit. Here are resources for getting this done. If you need to go back, take more notes, and review the teaching video that we watched in class explaining and breaking down Space Cat, that link is there for you. If you need or want a digital copy of the Space Cat handout with a sample filled out, as well as some annotations, that's there for you. If you need a digital copy of that Why Rhetoric informational reading, that's there for you. You could always go back to that because that breaks down ethos, pathos, and logos, those appeals. If you need the project rubric, it's there for you too. So I am going to go to that rubric right now. So here it is. It looks like a lot of other rubrics that you've seen before. This is the part that has to do with your written work and how you explain things. And this is the part that has to do with simply the act of giving a speech. Okay, so these are to do with some oral communication basics. And then this is the part that has to do with what is really in your presentation, the meat and potatoes, so to speak. So here is where I'll write the topic and the period. These are the basics laid out in the rubric. So you've got a title slide, you've got a works cited page, you have one written text, one visual text, and one audio/visual text. And your topic is presented from all three purposes. And then in terms of depth of thought, just to try to keep it fairly simple, the task at hand is you need to build understanding of the rhetorical situation, that's the space part, for each of your three texts. And you need to teach that to the class. It doesn't mean that every little thing that you have to say needs to be typed on the slide. It does not, okay? Whatever is most important that you need your audience members, your classmates to write down, that probably should be on the slide to make it helpful for them as they take notes. But you do not need to write out large paragraphs or something like that on a slide, okay? Language and style. There should be few errors in spelling and capitalization. You should use punctuation in a sensible, grammatically correct way, right? No run-on sentences. Make sure if you're using subordinating conjunctions, aka swabbies, and if it's a middle swabby, that means don't use a comma. But if it's at the beginning of the sentence, use a comma. Think about your fanboys, your swabbies, your thamos, all that kind of stuff. But keep doing your best writing. Team members should use complete sentences. Okay? Just simply for the practice of using and writing complete sound sentences. All right. And for the speech part, this is kind of always the same because these are the things that somebody should expect from a seventh grader giving a presentation, that you use eye contact, that you use gestures a little bit, right? You don't just stand like a statue. Your voice is dynamic and shows enthusiasm. It can be heard by everyone, and you vary your vocal tone appropriately, right? I'm not speaking to you right now in this video in one note, very monotonously, in a low voice, because this would be very boring. And you make sure you give time for class members to take notes, make observations, maybe even ask questions, and do that rhetorical analysis. And of course, everyone participates equally. All right, so you can see point breakdown on here. It's going to be 35 points for all that work that you do beforehand, and then 15 points for the presentation out loud itself. Okay, so back to here. We're going to look at possible topics, and then I've got some just like sample template slides for you. This is going to be available to you in view only mode. So if you wanted to use this as a template, you would simply make a copy of it and then you could use it. So here are some possible topics. Really, as I have said, the sky is the limit. So whatever topic it is, you're going to find something that's persuasive. You're going to find something that's informative. And you're going to find something that's entertaining. Okay. So I've got it divided in these like just really big categories. If you think of something else that is outside of this realm, that is totally fine. Just clear it with me. We can add to this list in the moment during classes, during Q4 week 3. But here are just some ideas that I have come up with as I have been planning this for the past couple weeks. Friendship, healthy communication, time management, planning for the future, personal finance, honesty, empathy, happiness, emotion regulation, mindfulness, things like that to do with our feelings and how we interact with other people. In terms of arts and culture, you could pick a music genre, right? Like punk, like ska, like reggae, like reggaeton, whatever. Just remember, keep in mind, your texts do need to be in English, as this is an English language class. That is not to say that music that is written in English is superior in any way. Please don't misunderstand me, but we are a dual language school. This is an English class. So you do need to pick things that are in English. You could pick an artistic medium. By that, I mean you could present on oil painting, on frescoes, something like that. You could pick a place in the world, a city or specific destination, right? So then your persuasive text could be something from the tourism board of Iceland. And then your informational piece could be an article about Iceland. And your entertaining thing could be a video. I don't know. Something like that. A fandom, a band or performer. Okay. The entertaining thing could be a song or a music video by them. You get the idea. Okay. Science and technology. Again, this is by no means an exhaustive list. There are plenty other topics. This is just what I thought of off the top of my head. And then politics and history. If there is any topic that you have covered in your history class this year, and you thought, I wonder what information is available about this in English instead of Espanol, go ahead, pick that. Any war, any pandemic, any social movement or revolution, a world leader, a peacemaker, a human right, right? From the Declaration of Human Rights, pick one of those rights and make that your topic. That would be fine. Literature and language, a poet, a poem, an author, a book, a literary movement, a literary genre, meaning like, I don't know, like gothic fairy tales or monster lit, whatever. Dual language education, bilingualism, a short story, a literary theme, creative writing, anything. But here are some topics. And then this is generally what it would be laid out as. All right, so you've got your topic, team member names. And then here you go. You would make sure you label the slides with the student name so you can get the credit that you deserve. And that if somebody else didn't work very hard or left things blank, that's on them. That's not on you. You get the idea, right? I just want to be able to score and evaluate your work as fairly as possible. All right. So then the date published, written, visual, audio, you could embed content right there. You could link to an article. You could stick the video right on the slide. If you're not sure how to do that, this is on the computer. The computer has the internet. The internet has all sorts of how-tos. So just, if you don't know how to do something, Google it, right? Or click help within Word. All right. And then this is where you would do the teaching part. So that could link to your text right there. And then that's where you would lay out some information about the speaker, the purpose, audience, context, exigence. All right. Same again with the informative piece. And then for the entertaining piece, then you just give us some information about the audience, context, and exigence. And then your works cited. Add your sources here, all of your sources, all right? If you look up information about the speaker and you use that, you paraphrase that, you put that in your own words, and you put it on this slide, if those thoughts that you put in this box are not your own, you need to cite it, okay? It's really, really important. It's a matter of academic honesty, of ethics and integrity. All right. So this is your ethos that you show us here, everything that you reference, so that we give credit to the people who worked hard and sometimes have made it their life's work to produce that work of art, to put that street art together, to publish that song. Okay. Those people deserve that credit, and you deserve the practice and learning how to make a legitimate, academically sound works cited page. All right, that's the end of this presentation. Again, if you need resources for researching, they are in this presentation. If you need resources for making sure you understand all the elements of SpaceCAD and why rhetoric, they are here as well. If you need to see the rubric, again, it is linked here. I would click on that link, I hit Control, and then I would go Open Link. All right, everything that you need is here, and I think we're going to have a really good time with this, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what cool things you are